engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
So when you go away, you better stay in touch with me. It's like they always say, communication is the key.
Glamdemic.
Glamdemic. It was Bob's. That's what Bob was up to for 18 months during the pandemic.
Gotcha. Very good. So
Glamdemic
yes,
is
introduce
pretty
yourselves, please, for folks who are watching this and don't know who you are.
Bobby Kennedy on guitar, vocals.
Keith Roth on bass.
Very good. And the third person is Bob Pantella. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All righty.
Rehearsing for a tour right now.
Yeah.
With this other band.
A little band called Monster Magnet.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. Very good. So tell me how this group of three of you got together to do this thing, because it's
Well, me and Keith have played in bands together for a while. We both backed up David Johansen for a while, and Handsome Dick from the Dictators. We were his backup band for a while, and other bands. And then we just both love glam. We're big fans. And I have this other band called Acid, and I did one glam song. And somebody said, "Why don't you do a whole album that way?" So I said, "Yeah, you're right. You know, I should."
I was the last man standing in Acid, because the last show that Acid did at the Brighton Bar, and that was Bob's previous band. They made 3 glorious records, great records. But after that show, you know, we've always stayed in touch, and all 3 of us worked together on all different kind of projects together. You know, it's nothing weird for us, all 3 of us, to be in the studio. And when Bob told me his idea about conjuring up a journey back to 1971 and playing with the Spiders from Mars and Mark Bolan, I knew I was in, and I know I always love him as a songwriter, so I knew it was going to be good. And then when I started hearing the demos for it, I knew it was going to be something I was into it.
And Bob's the best drummer around here, and he has a studio also, so it worked out. We recorded there, so
Mostly because he has the studio.
yeah.
that always helps. There you go.
No, first of all, he is right. He is probably one of the best drummers on the planet. He's as good as anybody there is out there.
Cool. Well, I got to say, I'm a big glam fan. My favorite band was Mott the Hoople, and I saw them at a show in '73. The opening act was Aerosmith, and the middle band was the New York Dolls. So it was all over after that. You know.
Absolutely.
I read about that show.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those are 3 of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
And, you know, like Bobby was saying, we got to work with David. I've been working with David for 21 years now at this point, but to be part of the David Johansen group. And I always loved that lineup with myself and Bobby. And who else do we have? Tommy Tafaro on guitar. And Clint, legendary Clint on drums. But, you know, a lot of people that saw David for years really liked that band because we just did the first 2 Dolls records and the first Johansen record. So it was really cool. Except one night, David decided he wanted to open up with a Dead song. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's never a good idea.
We had to learn that.
We learned that on the spot in the dressing room or something,
Yeah.
right? And I remember we opened.
Which one was it?
The Golden Road to Unlimited Devotion.
All right. Well, at least it
You
wasn't
know, we're all-
Bertha.
No, it wasn't. We're gonna do Dark Star, and then walk off. We'd have to run back to Jersey at that point. But no, we opened with that, and that's always been one of David's favorite songs. And we pulled it off, and David gave us kudos. And then as he was giving us kudos, a bottle, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Flew right between me and him and just missed us, and someone was getting tackled somewhere in the crowd. But yeah, you know, we have a lot of love, respect, and for Mott the Hoople and the New York Dolls. And
Beautiful thing. Yep. So Glamdemic. So tell me how you guys put this record together. It's all originals. You should point out it. You're not doing like covers of T-Rex and
Now it's
Sweet
all-
or anything
all
like that.
original. No, but they're a big influence, obviously. Just focused on doing a glam record and wrote all these songs in like a month and a half, and we recorded them over the next 6 months, and it just came out way better than we thought it would. So people seem to like it. So
yeah, I mean, Bob, you know, when the 3 of us are, you know, off the clock, shall we say, and we're texting each other sometime in the wee hours of the morning, we're all vinyl junkies, like myself and Bob, and you know, we're posting little, you know, things from eBay and like, do you have this one and that one? He goes, you know, I got this. So, I mean, you know, we always have been inspired and influenced by, you know, like what we were just talking about before. And Bob just was really focused. Like he got his mind, I feel like, in that 1971, 72, and wouldn't let himself out of it until he wrote an album's worth. And actually it was Minister though that really, it was like such a no-brainer, but he's like, you guys should do a band. And I think he wanted us to record a fix song or something like that initially.
Oh, the Psychedelic Furs.
Psychedelic Furs, excuse me.
Psychedelic Furs.
So, I said fix, but equally grand. But, that's how it all started. And then Bob started laying down tracks, and then the record came together pretty quickly,
Yeah, but it took like, 8 months to get it pressed.
Yeah, with the duplication with vinyl, it's just crazy. I mean,
right, I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, we were one step ahead of Kiss as far as the duplication went. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, our duplicators said, "Well, Kiss is right behind you," but they were like first come first serve, so that's why both records came out.
Apparently, it's all Adele's fault.
Yeah, and Jack White. You got to be friends with Jack White, because then he owns the pressing plants down in Nashville. So
yeah.
If he was, we should become more closer with Jack White. We can get records.
Probably hang with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably like us.
I'm sure. What's not to like?
Yeah.
So just touch on a few of the songs here if we can. There's one called "Keep Away" that I kind of like. Almost had a Roy Wood Wizard kind of vibe to it.
Baby, keep away from my heart, 'cause it don't belong to you, and there's nothing you can do. I said, baby, stay away from my heart, 'cause it don't belong to you, and there's nothing you can do. No.
That's interesting that you said Roy Wood and Wizard. You said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when he first sent me the demo of that song, that was really the first impression that I had of it. It really reminded me of Roy Wood.
Yeah, I happened to be lucky enough. I was in England, London in '72, and I went to the big Wembley Rock and Roll show, and it was Roy Wood Wizard's first gig there. It was like almost the last one for the MC5, and Gary Glitter got booed off the stage. But Wizard was awesome.
You would love living around here, man.
Well, I came from Rochester, New York, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not wasn't that far away, and I've been to Jersey a few times.
Yeah. Well, Rochester, New York, you got the Chesterfield Kings, right?
There you go. Greg Prevost is a buddy of mine.
Yeah, he's awesome, and the way he writes some great books, and he has he really knows his shit when it comes to gear and the Beatles and the Stones, and I love the Chesterfield.
Is he
Kings.
the one in the band with Clem and Wally from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that other band with Clem Burke and
Yep.
That's
Andy who's in that band.
Elliot Easton.
Elliot Easton, right.
Yeah.
What was the name of that band?
Something Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Empty Hearts.
Empty Hearts. That's it. Yes.
Yes.
Well, we all worked at the House of Guitars together back in the '70s.
Oh wow. Yeah. Did you ever go up to House of Guitars?
No, I went up there.
Oh, it's amazing. It's still open, right?
Yep. So back to the record. Were you guys cutting live in the studio? What was it feeling like when you were making this thing?
It was like half and half. I would do stuff at home, like demo it, like put some fake drums on there, and then we get to the studio and Bob would play them like that.
Right.
And then I'd erase everything we did, and then I'd play to Bob's drums. So we do it live over in the studio. So like the bass and drums are done together, and then I had my parts after.
So you guys are a little younger than me. So how did you get exposed to? Is it through Bowie or Glam or and what?
Bowie. I'm a big T-Rex fan, and Sweet and Slade. So yeah, grew up on that stuff.
I grew up I was born in the Bronx,
right?
80 AD Avenue, and my brother, who's 17 years older than me, went to kindergarten with the Dictators, with Hanson Manitoba and Scott Kempner. So in our little nick of the Bronx, there was a really great independent record store on Fordham Road, and everybody would go there, and so here in the MC5 and the Stooges around my house at like 3 or 4 years old. I know it's real hip and chic, but I mean, I thought everybody knew who they were.
Of course.
I thought they were the biggest bands in the world. And then, moving out of the Bronx when I was like 14 years old, I moved to New Jersey, and nobody knew who the Stooges of the MC5 were. It wasn't until I was like 16, I went to the Court Tavern and I heard like Loose on the jukebox. I'm like, oh my God, like I thought I was in the Twilight Zone, but then I met a whole group of people that were hip to it. And then throughout the years, they became, very fashionable and hip, but so I mean, seeing the New York Dolls, I remember one time on Midnight Special, I think it was.
Yep.
And Bowie was a staple, like from I mean, I can the Ziggy record and Aladdin Sane, especially.
Aladdin Sane is the one.
Yeah, and my brother had
Mick Ronson's my favorite guitar player. And I thought I died and gone to heaven when I found out he joined Mott the Hoople, and then it all fell apart. So
yeah, it lasted one single, right? Saturday's gig.
That was it. Saturday gigs, yeah.
I spent this whole record trying to get that guitar sound, and I can't get it.
You came close though.
I came close.
Did you ever meet Mick Ronson?
I love.
Yes, him and Ian Hunter together once, and Mick was like shy and just the nicest guy. He's very reserved. Nice guy.
I met Mick Ronson once with Ian Hunter. It was my 23rd birthday. They were playing the Pony, and Steve Jones was opening.
Oh, wow.
Right.
And the sound check, we were, there was a little Mexican restaurant down the street right next to the fast lane in Asbury at that point. And I'm like, we're going to the show, but I'm like, I want to see if I could like talk to Mick Ronson and Ian Hunter. And, I met Ian a bunch of times since then, and he's a great guy. But we walked in the side door, and there were the two of them sitting there having buds. And I was like, I just jumped right in. And he, like what you said, he was kind of shy, and he was like talking to me for like a good half an hour till they were calling him up to sound check. And, I got a picture with him. It's somewhere on my Facebook page, but they say never meet your heroes. And he was the only guy that ever like had stuttering around, because I was really nervous.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
He was just so cool.
Yeah. When you met me.
And sort of like when I met Bob, I got a little nervous around meeting Bob.
There you go.
But he was such a great guy, such a sweet guy. And it was so sad when he passed. My friend Durwood from Generation X, I'm not meaning to name drop, because
Go ahead. That's what we're here for.
No, but that's a Bobby line. But Burt Reynolds has since passed, so
Can't use him anymore.
now I have to use Phil Collins, I guess, right, or something like that. But he was saying that when Mick was making that last record, he was there in the studio, and he said it was painful to watch him, because he would give up his seat to people cutting tracks. Meanwhile, he could barely get up, and he said tears were falling out of his eyes, when he was there at that. But
the last performance he did with Bowie and Ian at the Queen Freddie Mercury benefit was just, you could just tell that was it. He didn't have much more to give even then.
He looked okay though then, right? He looked like pretty healthy. But I mean, what a loss. And Mick Ronson, God rest.
I love you mentioned Dictators. It had to be the loudest concert I've ever seen in my life. They played a little club in Rochester called Casablanca. And I got a drumstick out of the deal, but when I got into my car, I literally couldn't hear anything. Just
I feel like that every other night. Because I'm actually in the Dictators now.
Right.
I don't know if Bob told you that, but so playing with Ross, I mean, I'm playing second guitar. I got like the worst iron wrist, and my amp's on 10 because I can't hear anything.
Right.
But he's another freak of a guitar player. I mean, Albert Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult is playing drums. So, we rehearsed here, and I remember I went upstairs, and all of a sudden I walked downstairs, and they're playing Seven Screaming Dizbusters, Albert Bouchard and Ross, and me and Andy Sheernoff are just sitting there like kids, like, amazing. Like, you a Blue Oyster Cult fan?
I don't know that well now.
First three records are the greatest.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Mike Watts, like Bible, right? Henry Rollins, like, you need to get those first three. Great stuff. It's like one long record,
Exactly. And they were awesome live too. They always had a great laser show and stuff back in the 70s.
Yeah, they're good. A lot of them lived in the area. Buck Dahmer used to live down the street here for a while, but then he retired, moved down to Florida, and they're all really cool guys,
Yeah, I'm sure
playing with Albert's a lot of fun,
Yeah,
we tell them to bring the Godzilla mask to rehearsal, and a lot of, and then Ross gets a lot of ball busting.
I know that one.
Which one?
Godzilla.
Oh, that one.
There you go. Now you must know Don't Fear the Reaper.
I think Andy asked him, the next time you come here, make sure you wear your loincloth, for the Man of War days.
Oh, yeah.
He gets a lot of
Speaking of the loincloth, I talked to Ted Nugent earlier today, who I had seen with Blue Oyster Cult back in the 70s. This is all turning into this bizarre trip into time.
I mean, Ted is Ted, right? But the one thing you got to say about him is, like, I do radio too, so I've interviewed him, and you can't help but not love the guy.
When I got done, I was, because I'm pretty left wing, right on the opposite side of him. But I couldn't help but just being completely entranced by him.
He's funny as heck.
He's a character,
He's a character, and I mean, politics aside, he's hyper as can be, and I'm sure he played guitar for you, right?
Yes, he did. I mean, well,
Right.
I'm sitting there and freaking Journey to the Center of the Mind is like
Oh,
what
wow.
the heck?
And he talks about his great relationships with Wayne Kramer and
Yep.
Mark Farner, and they all love him. I mean, even Tom Morello's they're both about as extreme as you can get left and right,
Yep.
and they love each other.
Yeah,
Yep.
I saw that at Howard.
Yeah, it's like a love fest, Ted is Ted. He's funny as heck,
So what's the plan for Space Panther? You guys doing some gigs?
We're gonna start rehearsing soon as Bob gets back from his massive tour
Right.
and get out there this summer. So
Yeah. The record's doing really well.
it just came out the other day, so we gotta
Yeah.
try to promote it now. So
But I'm real happy about we did a pre-order, and it's I mean, I can tell you right now there's 2 left,
Okay.
because we checked today, and we're like, it said 4 left, and so it must be sold out. Like, no, you got 2 left. So we have 2 copies left, but we all have OCD. Like, they're going to sit there until they sell. Right?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well,
we have-
these days with the younger kids, they're always checking their Spotify counts to see how many more plays they've got. It seems kind of
Right.
depressing.
Well, we need 2 more to pay the vinyl bill, pay
Right.
the record company back. So
Yeah, that's true.
another $50, and I think we'll call it even. But no, that's all it's left. And
So mail a check to,
but yeah, no, the record, there's a lot of hype around it. I know Rodney's been playing the record,
Yep.
right?
Rodney, big fan. Rodney Bingenheimer. How do you say it?
Yeah,
Ronnie
he's a bit of-
Bingenheimer, is he still doing his thing?
Yeah, he's on Sirius now. He's doing it on Little Steven's Underground Garage. So he's been playing the record a
He's
lot.
on
and-
Sunday nights, like for 4 hours.
Right.
yeah,
Every Sunday night, yeah.
the mayor, yeah, he's so great, and so many people that that we know from all different kinds of genres. They're not really. Some are very hip to the whole '70s glam thing, but some just love the songs and they just think it's great. They think
Yep.
we're like we invented the wheel or something like that. Where Bobby will tell you that this is
Hey.
a throwback to everything that
Yeah.
we loved. But
What?
If they think that, let them think that.
yeah, why not? We'll
So
go with
do you see this, because you guys are involved in all sorts of things, do you see continuing on making more of these records?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really fun. So yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, we love it. We love, and I always love working with Bob. I mean, Bob,
I'm a little intimidated by it because it came out pretty good. I don't know if I can top it. This one.
he keeps saying that, 'cause if you ever want to hear something really good, check out his previous band, Acid. They
Okay.
made 3 great records. The big problem with your last band is that, because I've been in and out of it a few times, right? But the name,
Yeah.
that was the
There's
big
too many
problem.
acids.
There's too
Too
many
many
acids out there. Yeah, I mean, you on Spotify, it says you were some industrial
Mhm.
new wave band from 1978, or
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Acid, you had the whole Evil Knievel helmet, and he had a whole thing going on with it, and they had great covers, and the records delivered the goods. Like, if I would have saw those albums covers when I was a kid, I would have bought all those
Mhm.
records. They're real. I mean, I thought "Dead" was one of the greatest songs of the new millennium.
Well, I was knocking my head out trying to do another one, but it wasn't getting anywhere. And then somebody suggested the Glam do a whole record like that, and like, boom, just clicked.
And here we
I'm
are.
not being weird, but the Space Panther record, sold more than all 3 of those records together on a
Yeah.
pre-order. I mean,
Are you going to do it like a dual tour with Steel Panther?
No.
all you should do is
Unless
just
they ask us.
you should just re-release all those Acid records and call it Steel Panther. Because it's all good stuff. But
Sounds
Yeah.
great. All righty. Well, one more song I want to touch on. Come on, just because there's like no lyric to it at all. It's just
Exactly,
awesome.
that
It's
was
like, come on, baby, come on, yeah, yeah, yeah. And
my
there's a great
friend always-
cowbell in there. So for those
yeah.
of the Blue Oyster Cult fans.
Yeah, baby. Baby. Come on. Oh, baby. Come on.
I wanted kind of like a T-Rex groovy song, but me and my friend had this ongoing joke about writing a song that just says, "Hey, come on now, woo," but doesn't say anything, and there it is. Just a
There
bunch
you
of
go.
cliche words.
yeah. Bobby's really good at taking just a few phrases and turning it into a song, and the lyrics just are perfect, and they just get stuck in your head.
That's
Yep,
called
yep.
being lazy and not wanting to write the next verse.
You can't see him really writing a romantic song, even though he's a bit of a
Come on, it's
romantic.
pretty romantic.
Thanks.
or give me some drugs and rock and roll. You know,
That's a good one.
yeah, but you know, I mean, you could feel the release in the record. You know, me as just kicking back and listening to it because these guys did most of the heavy lifting. You know, so
Right.
I mean, I was, you know, I went to the studio at Bob's that day, and I didn't see you guys for 100 years. It felt like afterwards, and then you dropped off a final copy of the record.
This is the height of the pandemic. It was all a mess.
Yeah, but you know, you could feel it wasn't the height of the pandemic. You know, it was the big fear of not knowing what was happening. You know, because
Sure.
I was caught right in the middle of it when it started in March of 2020. I was doing shows a lot in the Lower East Side, and we always do Lou Reed's birthday celebration. And Hal Wilner had passed away, and we had done that show with him, and it was like, and then all of a sudden it was like a domino effect. You know, a guy that lives a few doors down from us, he died, and then our friend Tony Donato, and you know, my wife's mom's husband was 58 years old. He died from it. And all of a sudden, all these, Adam Schlesinger, who's friends with the guy from.
Yeah. Fountains of Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear Mark Lanigan has passed away today?
And Mark Lanigan passed away. Yeah, that wasn't from COVID though, right?
Don't know. There's
Yeah.
speculation, but there's no official word, so I don't want to.
Right.
Speculate.
Last I heard is he was moving to Ireland, and
He was
big-
in Ireland, yeah.
big fan of his. I mean, I
Yeah.
love the Screaming Trees, but I really liked his solo stuff. But
Yep.
you know, this pandemic thing, you know, where we got
been
hit
rough.
right here in, you know, the New York City area, it was tough. But then, you know, so everybody basically lived like Charlton Heston and the Omega Man for like, you know, 18 months. But Bob, you know, he saw the light at the end of the tunnel because it's a release, it's a party album.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling record. It's nothing to think about, you know, it's just fun, and it just conjures up the 70s. And I felt that when I heard the final mix, because even though we really weren't through it, you know, I felt like there's going to be a celebration, and this is going to be one of the celebratory records to listen to, because, you know, we were trapped in the house for all that time.
Exactly.
So
Cool. All righty. Well, that sums it
hopefully
all
there's
up.
not another pandemic to have to write another one. You could just, you know,
Glamdemic.
Let's
I like
hope
your
not.
idea of Glamdemic, though.
yeah, that is pretty good.
All righty. Well, guys, thank you very much for taking time
Thank
to talk
you.
to me. Appreciate it. Wish I was there in Jersey, but it is winter there and it's summer here, so I'm kind of digging that.
Yeah, it's cold, even though it's a nice day today. It's like 55, right?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. It's colder in this room than it is outside.
That's
I'm
right.
sure. Yeah. All
Hey,
righty.
it was nice meeting you.
You too.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.